Greetings, everybody. Bless up yourself, Claudette. Thank you for these photos. I want to say welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining our little family. This is mostly a drama-free zone where we welcome you. If you choose to remain silent, we are grateful to have you. And when you feel like sharing, please do so. I have no problems with divergent thoughts. And for sure, you thought I deleted one of your comments, but I didn't. There would be no reason to delete a comment because you have an alternative view or even if you agree with me. I do have a problem with individuals who make comments that are disrespectful. See, you can disagree with the thought, but you don't have the right to disgrace the messenger, which hardly ever happens here, to be honest with you. This is one of the most blessed space where people are respectful. People agree to disagree. Bless up yourself, Linda. There are times when I do a video where I know you are not in agreement with what I'm saying. You present your argument and, we agree to disagree, or we just respect each other's thoughts. And I try to keep it like that most of the time. So I won't delete your comment because you have an opposing idea or thought, as long as you keep it respectful. And you are, and I'm very grateful. Now, in today's video, we're going to talk about the things of the past and how they manifest themselves in today's thought. And I'm going to say to you, and we're going to use the Montgomery bus situation with Rosa Parks, how she was told one day that she couldn't sit in that seat and she had to get up to give it to a white person. And that day, she was at the end of the rope and she said no more. And she refused to get up. And that sparked this phenomenal movement where African people decided they were taking no more buses. And they did that for over 365 days. Do you think that's easy? And I think that's what's lacking. That spirit is lacking for today, from today. When you're determined to stand up for your right, it's not a one-day movement. It is something that you have to stick with. And if it breaks you, it breaks you. If you're not ready to surrender it all, you will not get the results. And if you look at every group that have ever stood up for anything that they believe in, that anything they think violated their freedom, these ones had a rough and long road to success. And so what I want to say to you, in that Montgomery situation, those people walked for miles to work. They weren't allowed to take the buses and they weren't even taking rides from anybody. It was a movement. At that time, the people understood, African people understood unity, and that's what's missing from this time. But we're not even going to go too much in that this morning. What I want to say to you, when the black woman or the black man had to go through the back door because they couldn't use a front entrance, or when they would go to a restaurant and they were refused to be served, which I just don't get it. How could you even want to eat in these establishments with people who don't like you? They hated you. These ones hated you. They would spit in their food. They would do these things, and yet they still wanted. That's another topic for another day. Anyway, they were not allowed to eat in these restaurants. They couldn't drink from certain taps. There was a tap scheduled for them over there. How different do you think that is from this time? When you're told you won't be able to eat here, you're not welcome unless you have this. You won't be able to, come to this place unless you have this. The devise or the division is too real. And frankly, it is very frightening that you will have these rules that gets thrown upon you without regard for how it's going to affect your life. Because the ones who aim to control you will not stop until you're broken. It's not different from the experience with the African. Why you think in the Caribbean these men were taken in the public and were raped in front of the entire community? It was to break their spirit. It's not a new phenomena. Take away the things that are most valuable to you. Remove you from your families. Separated you from your loved ones. Give you these kind of burdens that are unbearable. And divide and rule and conquer. It's the same spirit. It's the same nature. So the African couldn't drink from that tap. Couldn't go to that establishment. It's the same spirit. Weren't allowed to go to the school. I don't understand though. I think that's what part of the problem with African people. Because imagine these things you're banned from doing and you force and fight to do it. If someone doesn't want me in their place, do you think I'm going to fight to be in that space? Do you think I will ever support any of these establishments that said, I will divide you based on whatever status? They could never get my money again. I would never eat in any of those establishments again. I would never shop in any of those establishments. Any company or organization or any establishment that said, I am not about divide and rule. I'm not about separating people. That's where I would spend my money. It's not new. It's the same spirit that was always here, that was put in a bottle, that was kept down with a lid. But when you put negative energy hidden, it will explode. It will show up itself. That's the nature of bad spirits and bad energy. So ones and ones try to say, we are so different. Oh, this one over there at that time, they were so bad and we're better. And now we see human beings being separated again. And in the country where I come from, people getting slapped and pushed down and abused and rights violated. And there's no such thing as rights. There's no such right except the ones that are conferred upon human beings by a handful of people. What rights? All that is gone. But if you are grounded in what is most important, which is knowing that you are a human being born with rights. You're a human being born with freedom, not conferred upon you by man, but by virtue of your birth, from you entering from your mother's birth canal into this world. You're born with that. That's why you were created for this time, for purpose. It's up to you to see other creatures as God when we're all subject to death. Samsara, living and dying, is a natural process. As one dies, one is born. So when you don't allow people to feel like they can control you, they can dictate what is best for you without your consent, that's when you've lost. What I'm saying here is none of this is new. We couldn't drink from the tap. We couldn't go to the restaurants. We couldn't go to certain establishments. Our kids couldn't go to school unless. And all these things we fought for. Truthfully speaking, our people should have stayed by themselves and learned the lessons. But it is what it is. And it's here again. And so I'm saying take care, stay safe, be blessed.